one of the areas that I recognize Bethel needs to grow in is just our evangelism. And I was out on a run one day and I was thinking to myself, okay, if I'm going to challenge the church to invite their friends or lost ones to the Lord or to church, then what are we going to do to promote this? And obviously I share on Sundays, invite your friends, share the gospel with them. But then I thought to myself, what am I doing to put myself out there in the community to share the gospel with people? And so that's where I approached Matt and said, hey, would you be willing to walk through this journey with me as I put myself out there to lead from the front and show that, hey, if evangelism matters to me, I got to go beyond just the stage and into the grocery stores or other places to share Jesus. Evangelism is just telling other people about Jesus, and we get that command in Matthew 28. Before Jesus leaves earth, he calls us to go and make disciples of all nations. And so part of sharing who Jesus is expressing what he means to you and just the testimony of his life. So I'm definitely anxious about this process because I lean more on the introverted side. I'm one where I plant myself, whether it's a coffee shop or going to a gym and building relationships over time to approach people about church and Jesus. So I'm a little bit nervous there, and we'll see how it goes, but I'm also looking forward to it because it's going to stretch me and it's going to challenge me in maybe a weakness of my own. My original thought right now is to go to some kind of department store and ask an employee for help looking for a specific item. In the time that they help me, I want to just start a conversation. What's your name? How long have you been working here? And look for ways to be curious about who they are that may lead to a bridge being built, or I can go deeper in conversation with them. Besides that, I really don't have anything other than the Holy Spirit giving me the direction of how the conversation should go. Going a little bit deeper about their life obviously is a great transition into more spiritual things, but if it doesn't go that way, just calling out some of the things that I see in them based on the conversation that we're having. If they're willing to walk 10 aisles to help me find a specific product, obviously they've got a servant's heart, and I can easily transition that into some examples from the Bible, right? That talk about the qualities that Jesus had. And I know that seems like a Jesus juke and everything, and it's funny, but at the same time, people need to see that their service or their heart, it is just a small facet of who Jesus was. And I want to be able to call that out of them, but also to show them the better and more prime example, which is Jesus. All right, so we're here at Lowe's, and I'm ready to actually commit to what it is that we talked about. Moments before us coming here, definitely had some anxious feelings because you never know how a conversation is going to go with a random stranger. Yeah, are you here because of the button? Okay, perfect. All right.
What you need?
Yeah, so got a question. Dude, I just wasn't feeling that. So it really threw me off at first because she saw we were together, and I was worried about her seeing like you filming down there. And honestly, she wasn't who I was anticipating seeing, so that was hard. I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay.
Stairway to heaven. Are you going to heaven? There they are. There's the seeds. I was looking all over for them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hope I'm not in your way.
No, you're not.
What's your favorite?
What? Don't have the kind that I want.
What are you looking for?
Jade.
I just found a customer, and I just tried to speak to them on their level with something that they cared about. And I saw this lady, she was over by the green beans, and I was able to talk to her about how my wife and I started some blackberry plants and things last year. And so I used that as a bridge to connect with her. And it was just like kind of surface conversation. I was trying to help her look for the green beans, they didn't have them. And then I just talked about flowers because I was right next to the seeds. And I talked about how our church is preparing for Easter, putting beautiful flowers out, and we would love for her to come on April 20th. And she asked where it was. I shared that with her, and she seemed interested in coming out. And then we kind of just left it at that. And then as I was walking away, she walked the other way, and I was looking at different flowers, and she came back around, and she was talking about how beautiful the flowers were. And I'd have to go back over the tape, but long story short, I asked her what her name was, and she mentioned that her husband just passed away in October. And I asked how many years that they've been married and all those things. And then she then opened up that her son and his wife asked for a divorce. So I asked for their names, and then I asked if we could pray over them. And she had like tears in her eyes, and yeah, I was able to pray with her. And then at the end, hey, we'd love to see you again on April 20th for Easter. So I thought that was pretty neat. I think there's definitely a faith background there, but she doesn't go to church anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I'm feeling encouraged. Yeah. So even if she doesn't come to church, just the fact that we were able to pray together, I believe that the Lord did touch her, and that's the most important thing, that they feel the presence of the Lord. So I would say it's a mixed bag, honestly, because I went into Lowe's with an expectation that I was going to go talk to an employee and it was going to be great. They're here to serve me. Of course, they're just going to talk nonstop, but it was a little bit awkward to try to get that conversation going. Felt like a lot of eyes were on me as well. But honestly, the moment I just like changed course and focused more on different people walking through as a customer, and then seeing where they were, not just coming with an agenda, but being curious about their life, opened the door. I think it's just about being intentional with just having conversations with people and allowing the Lord to direct those conversations more so than here's my agenda, I'm gonna force it down their throat. Because I think from my perspective, people are a little colder than what they actually are. People are just as human as you are and more willing to talk about their life, about who they are, than what we give them credit for. And once they find out that that person cares, the door opens up for greater conversation. If evangelism is a weakness of yours, in order to grow stronger in it, you really need to just practice it and put it in motion. And so as example, since that day, I've just had better conversations with people in the community, even our neighbors. I've just been a little bit more intentional with seeing a neighbor, going and talking to them, asking questions. It just allowed me to be more aware rather than head down, focused on my task, to be more aware of like what's around me. So if you're struggling just like me, I would say go to God. He would love to empower you. Obviously we know the Holy Spirit, Acts 2, it empowered Peter to just go and proclaim the gospel to 3,000 people. But if you're lacking in this area, it first starts with that desire. God, break our hearts for what breaks yours. And God is all about lost souls. So if that's his agenda, Matthew 28, it's got to become our agenda as well. So you need to prioritize his word, go to him, ask for him to strengthen you. And then honestly, it's just like working out, running, whatever it might be, you just got to put yourself out there. And you might look foolish, you might feel foolish, but at the end of the day, God's going to use you to really minister to people. And I believe it's going to lead to life change.